Okay, hi guys, Sean here from Cherry Tree Sawmill again. It's July 16th today, Thursday. We worked last night, so we're getting a bit of a late start today at the shop. So like I said, I'm trying to do a little daily video of what we do here today. So today we were what did we do this morning? Oh, we picked up a product on Marketplace, and it's what I was looking for. So I'll show you what. So I got this bander over here. That's a steel bander, and that's what we use for banding up our scraps of wood when we cut them off the saw, like our slabs. We band them up, and people will buy them from us for scrap firewood and that. We also band up our our lumber piles, so when we're moving them around the yard, they're not falling all over the place. So that's what we use the steel banding for. I think if I was to do it again, I might go with a different system, but that's the system we got currently. But what I was looking for is a banding system for, so you see we got all this cedar here. We're still working on that. It's part of what we're doing today. But when we finish processing this or planing it, I wanted a softer strap. So when I strap it, this wood's so soft that I couldn't use the metal bands on it. So we went, I found this on Marketplace. We went and got this, and so we got the tensioner. We got 2 rolls of the polyester strapping. That strapping is good for about 900 pounds, which should be good. And then we got a box of clips. The only thing he didn't have is the crimper for these clips, so I will have to order that probably from Uline. But that's what we did this morning, and then I went back to the bush. We finally got our weed off. You probably saw that in the other video. I don't think I edited it. That video got way too long, so I couldn't show you as much as I taped. But anyway, we got our weed off. That's allowed me to get back into the bush. I have my log splitter back there, so I wanted to bring it up because we've got a bunch of, I don't know if you can see them, ends of the logs that we cut off that we have to split up and put in the baskets for burning. So we try not to waste anything here. We hopefully we can sell or give away. We try to give away our sawdust if we can, if it works for us. Usually it has to be somebody that can come when we're emptying the shed, and that we can dump into. But we try to recycle as much as we can here. I don't like wasting anything. So all the wood that we cut off the ends of the logs and that, we typically don't burn any of that. We split it up and sell it for firewood. And then the flitch, not the flitches, but the cuts that we make, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank on the name. Anyway, the cuts that we make to square the log up, the bark and that, we'll put that in a rack, and then we'll band that up. Actually, I'll show you a lot better than me trying to explain it. I'm just drawing a blank on the name that we use for that slab wood. Typically I just call it slab wood, so but I know there's a proper name for it. So there's the bundles that we do. So we sell those hardwood bundles. If it's fully hardwood, good hardwood for burning, we'll sell that for $40 a bundle. We got We got a nest here. I think I almost stepped on a nest. Oh, there's the eggs. See the eggs right there? There's Mama complaining about it. I'm glad I didn't step on. I'm gonna have to get a pylon or something there. So yeah, this is what we do to try to save our scraps. And I have people come and buy these from me. If it's mixed between hardwood and softwood, it's $30. If it's just softwood, it's $20. And if it's hardwood, we sell these for $40. I better leave Mama alone. And there's our firewood splits that we sell for firewood. When we take any wood down in the bush back there, when we take trees down for logs, we'll cut all the tops up for try to make use of all the firewood. Oh, there's our rotary phase converter. I'll do a video on this later, but this is what generates our three-phase. Works really good. It's an American rotary, so it's a good brand. It's supposed to be a good brand anyway. So far it's been it's worked really well, and that's allowed me to run a little bit bigger equipment in here. So all right guys, I know when I'm finding out these videos I ramble a lot, so these videos get longer, so I got to be more precise in what I talk about. But so what we did, we started to run this cedar through the four-sided moulder and worked good. Everything worked good except the fact that some of the, so I'm taking a 2x6 and trying to cut it and keep it at a 5.5 inch for the decking. I'm finding out that's a little difficult because I'm not finishing up on both ends in all the boards. So I'm going to actually bring this product down to 5 1/4, because when we straight line it, if there's any kind of bow in it, we straight line it to get a flat edge. That doesn't always leave me enough to clean up the other side at 5 1/2. So and sometimes they're not a full, well, I shouldn't say that. Most boards were pretty good. The odd time the saw will dip a bit and you might not get your full 6 inches across, but it was a bit unfortunate because when I was cleaning these up, I would say about 80%, maybe 75 to 80% were cleaning up at 5 1/2, but that doesn't help me when I have to have it clean up, because what do you do with the other 25% of the boards here? So I need a product that's consistent that I can sell, and it'll be the same as my 12-foot material, because that will allow me to clean that 12-foot material up at 5 1/4 as well. So what I had to do is I had a bunch of boards. I had about 25 boards ran through, and then I had to adjust the planer where this cutter head wasn't cutting any longer, and then I had to back this head off, and I had to change all these feed rollers to rubber rollers, because what would happen, like that, those 25 boards were at a finished thickness. I just wanted to narrow the board up by 1/4 inch so it's uniform with all the other boards that I'm going to be making. So that's, if I would have ran the boards with these feeders, they would have put dimples on the soft cedar. So I had to use these. I'm glad they came, the moulder came with this stuff, so I had to replace it with these rollers. And it wasn't perfect, but it did work. Well, I shouldn't say it wasn't perfect. It worked quite well. See, these are the other plastic ones I use. It's the wood slipped a bit because the reason it was slipping, I think, because I was still at the height to cut at 3.5 inches, which that's the thickness that I was feeding through. So there wasn't quite as much tension on these wheels as there normally would have been. Anyway, that's probably a little confusing because you're not seeing what I'm talking about, but hopefully you follow what I'm saying. All right, we've got our 47 boards of 2x6 cedar here that we're going to take a 1/4 of an inch off. You can see how some of them just are not straight. That wouldn't clean up on the moulder, so we got to bring these down to 4 1/4 when they're 5 1/4 when they come out of the moulder. So I'm going to set this straight line rip saw to 5 1/2 right here. All right, and then I got to set my height to a little different because what are we at? We are at, should have had my glasses on. So actually that might be pretty good. Actually, I got to get my glasses. Man, it stinks getting old, guys. Just check. Here they are. I used to have really good eyesight until probably like everybody else, when they get old, it gets a lot rougher. So yeah, I got to move that up a bit. So I got to move this up to about, so we're sitting at about 1.75 inches right now. So I'm going to bring this just to under 1.75 inches, about 1/8 of an inch. So we should be good about there. That should feed through pretty good. All right, and we'll start the dust collection first. I'll put you guys on a time lapse when we do this. The reason why we did 47 boards, because these aren't going to be done. They're going to be left as is, and they'll go in the rack as S4S cedar. So if somebody wants to do a project with planed cedar, not plain cedar, they'll have that to pick from. But the reason we picked 47 boards here is because that's the amount of room left in the cell where these are going to go. I've already got 25, I think, in there. So this should fill my rack up with 2x6 cedar decking, so by 8 feet, and then we'll do another cell of 12 foot. We'll carry 8 and 12 foot lengths in the cedar decking for that. So all right, so we're going to turn the dust collector on here. This is our variable frequency drive, so you guys can see that everything's ramping up. The RPMs are ramping up, the amps are ramping up. So when that blower's on, usually that blower will run about 13.2 to 15, 13.5 to about 15, depending on the load. So you can see it should come down a little bit more. And it depends on what I got open for gates. That will also adjust the amps a little bit. So that's probably in the mark. I've got a fair bit of gates open, so it's pulling more air. It's working a little harder. So what we need, we got the straight line rip saw open and we have the planer closed. We should be all set. I can still pull with all those 4 open for my moulder. So there's enough suction to pull from my planer or my straight line rip, which is nice. So Alright, so what we'll do is we'll start the saw. And we'll start the seed roller. That saw is loud. And I'm going to put you guys on a time lapse for the rest here. Okay guys, I shouldn't have said anything just after I get done bragging about that dust collection. He clogs up on me. So this is the first time this has happened, and I think what the reason why it's happening is because we're taking such a small amount off the edges of these cedar boards. This kind of stuff's getting in there and plugging me up. So I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe pull that hose off and try to clean that out right at that junction. And I may have to close those I'll probably close those 4 gates. I haven't had any problem with it on the planer. And I haven't had any problem with the straight line rip either when we're cutting a wider piece of wood off, but because those are so thin, I think we're plugged up. So anyway, we'll try to get this cleaned up here. So I'll probably catch you back after I get this cleaned up. Okay guys, we got it sucking good now. That we put this back on. It was just plugged up there, like I said, with those thin pieces of cedar. So we'll put this back on again with one hand. Probably can't hear me too well with that dust collector on, but I'll probably need 2 hands to put that on, guys. Alright, I'll put you back on time lapse here to finish this. They're edging up really nice, so we'll put you back on time lapse and finish this up.